This is a day for people of conscience everywhere to act in support and respect for what's been accomplished by these courageous prisoners.
I want you to imagine with me yourself in their situation, alone for weeks, months, years on end, without windows and without contact with other people other than an occasional guard. They're sitting there waiting, and then they have to go before a board that says, we demand from you that you snitch on your fellow prisoners and we'll release you. What a dilemma to put all these people in. It's unconscionable what we're doing. The practice of solitary confinement is widely regarded by international human rights experts to constitute torture.
We didn't know a month ago that over 6,000 prisoners in the state in 13 different prisons would join this hunger strike, and they did. We had no way of knowing that 3 weeks later, hundreds of people would still be refusing food in order to try and accomplish their goals. We had no way of knowing before, let's say 6 months ago, that prisoners would be able to work across all the ethnic groups inside the prison to bring these demands forward and to take these huge risks on themselves to draw attention to their situation. People really didn't know before this strike that there was such a thing as long-term solitary confinement and that thousands of people were living in these conditions. The AFSC study called Buried Alive, Long-Term Isolation in Youth and Adult Prisons, found over 14,000, something like at least 14,500 people just in California are incarcerated in long-term isolation. The $100,000 figure we just heard, I'm sure, is conservative if you assume that California alone has over 14,000 people in these conditions. And that's not just security housing units. It's ADSEC, it's the psychiatric units, it's protective custody, it's all kinds of solitary confinement which are now being imposed on people, not just for a month, which is long enough, God knows, or any kind of short period of time, but for years at a time. Even ADSEG is in that category. So we have to see this as a beginning, not as an end of the hunger strike.
You're talking about men who wake up at the pre-dawn hours, confined in little enclosed, sunless chambers. And they're spending the rest of that day locked in those chambers. Showers being brought to them. As you can even imagine, a portable shower being pushed in front of your cell. You don't even get the benefit of the natural sunlight. I mean, who can think of something like this? That's the madness. This is the madness that we're fighting against. You have men that's been up there 20 and 30 years, haven't held their children for 20 or 30 years. And these committees that meet are still telling them, you're not ready to be going to general population. You're not ready to be treated as a human being.
Lawyers are needed in all these areas, and but the only way that any of these three things will make a real change is through, the power of the people, by pushing the changes to happen and to be enforced. Because we can see laws get passed, they don't get enforced, cases get decided, they get undermined, regulations get changed. So nothing is going to really stick unless the movement sticks, and that's where lawyers are nothing without you. Thank you.
I have been in touch with Hugo Pinel since 1973. We call him Yogi Bear. He has been locked in these gulags since 1964. Since '69, he has been in one solitary confinement after another. The last 20 years in Pelican Bay Shoe. He was 10 days on the hunger strike, but he stopped because he said if they had demanded, and he wrote this and told this to a friend who just came back from visiting him, a mutual friend, who said that if they had demanded the abolishing of the shoe, he would have hunger strike to the death. We must abolish the shoe. It's outrageous. Yogi hasn't been out of that cell hasn't been able to make a phone call or touch another human being aside from getting handcuffs put on him for at least 20 years. And much longer, actually. He hasn't touched his mother since 1973. So this is really ridiculous. We are inhumane. As a society, we have to take collective responsibility for what happens in our society. And being the highest world incarcerator makes us much less than human. We must regain our humanity and demand an end to neo-slavery, the prison system, and torture. This is torture. Make no mistake. So are we going to continue to support torture? No! No! Power to the people.
Hi, my name's Irma, and I have 2 sons at Pelican Bay. And from July 1st to the 19th, I believe, my oldest lost 25 pounds, and I don't know yet about my younger son, but as of July 1 to the 8th, he lost 8 pounds. I got a letter from both of them a few days ago, but they did not say nothing about the strike. I think they're afraid to talk because I honestly sent them a letter that was dated July the 4th, and neither one of them, they always write back and tell me I received a letter dated, and this time they both sent me letters and they did not mention about the letters, so I'm thinking that maybe the sheriffs over there withheld the letters because I have told both of them that their sister and I have joined a few groups in support of them. So Sean and Brian, if you're watching TV, I love you. And we're all fighting for you guys. Hang in there. Have a good day.
Hello, my name is Maria. I'm a mother to like Irma. I have 2 kids in Pelican Bay who they suffering really bad, like many kids. Our children, they are our children who they don't have no any chance with this crazy system. I feel so sad to hear in the letters and my kids say one lose 20 pounds with this already struggling with low pressure, and because the system only what they do is they help. They don't have no any medical help that really true for they care their own life. So my other younger son, he lost 18 pounds. But who is the more suffering is my older one because he have a low pressure already problems. And the part for me is I'm a Latina, and the system stopped my letter from my kid to know about me because I wrote the letters in Spanish. They say somebody need to translate that letter because I can do something wrong to my kids. In the same way, my kids send me letters who they stopped my kid letter for me for 1 month because nobody can understand what my kids say to a mother who is so worried about their life. And right now, I don't know nothing about them. I just hope and believe in God. God will protect their life because I'm here with my voice. Take care of all the prisoners, not only my kid, all the prisoners, all the kids, all my children, all my brother, my friends, everybody in there, they are a human being like me and they deserve better. Thank you.
My name is Randy. This is my wife Marie. It's my privilege to stand here in representation of the family. Marie's brother has been in Pelican Bay for 33 years. He's been in the SHU for 15 plus years, and he was one of the original, the 4 men who put together those 5 demands. in introducing my wife, I just want to say it's, in general, we have a big picture of this, how it's unjust, how it's cruel, but I think it would be good for some people to hear the personal touch. This is Marie's brother. This is the young man that she grew up with. And he's in this little cage. Well, actually, they shipped him out on about the 18th day of the hunger strike. They shipped him out to Corcoran. Personally, I believe it's just because fear. Just fear. Anyway. I think I need to let my wife speak for herself.
Hello, my name is Marie, and my brother has been incarcerated at Pelican Bay. And like my husband said, they did move him. I received a letter last Monday stating that they took him from Pelican Bay on the 18th. He wrote the letter on the 20th. He lost 38 pounds. He said that they took him there for medical reasons because of his blood pressure. He has high blood pressure, but his throat, he couldn't swallow. So they took him from there to get him checked out. You know, they said that they didn't want anything to happen to him. So they took him down to Corcoran. They shipped him to Corcoran. And he said that he was doing okay. So I'm happy that he's doing okay. But after, I've been on fasts before without eating food, and I know how it can take your body down and how, you know, how you become so weak. And for my brother, this being his first time experiencing that, I know it took a lot out of him. He said that he began this strike actually on June 30th. That's what he wrote in his letter. And he didn't stop until the 20th. So he did a whole 21 days. So, you know, I appreciate all of the support that everyone is giving to the prisoners. I just want to thank you.
The Peace and Justice Caucus of the Oakland Education Association stands in solidarity with the prisoners in the Security Housing Unit SHU at Pelican Bay Prison in Northern California, who began their strike on July 1st, 2011, to protest the torturous and inhumane conditions of their imprisonment.
We support the prisoners. Hunger strike demand. Prisoners are human beings. 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 Jerry, you got blood on your hands. Meet the prisoner by demand. Jerry, you got blood on your hands. Meet the prisoner by demand. Are human beings. Are human beings.
He said he had a meeting with the executive board of the Bureau of Prison, and that I was going to hear from one of the representatives of New York.
Are human beings. Kind of a system will treat people as if they aren't human. I mean, it's a system that from the very beginning has been a white supremacist, you know, system that lives off the backs of First Native Americans and black people and Hispanics and anybody who is not white, and actually promotes this white supremacy that is just rife throughout the system. And this is a system that deserves to be ended, and frankly, we need to bring in a system where everybody is treated as human beings, and where the youth and all the people are given a future, not only for themselves, for all of humanity.
This was a really important step. The negotiations are going on. As we know, there will be legislative hearings coming up in Sacramento. This is unprecedented. We will not stop, they write, until the CDCR ends the illegal policies and practices at the chutes. We're counting on all the outside supporters to continue collectively support us. This is really important. What we're doing, where we're going.
A letter from a hunger striker at Pelican Bay Prison who was writing to the Prisoners Revolutionary Literature Fund, just to highlight the importance and significance of what this actually means historically. We need to remember that. We have not seen prisoners stand up under these conditions in a long fucking time. And this is important. So here's the letter. We all realize that it took over 20 years of state-sponsored torture and discrimination for us prisoners to come together and challenge this system under one banner, that of liberty and justice. And that if we don't hold our ground and win this fight, not only will that keep the chains on us, but more importantly, it will allow future generations to remain forever enslaved to this injustice as well. So for this purpose, we remain committed to see this through until the bitter end.